This is Matador News, and these are today's headlines. President Obama is in town today attending a Democratic fundraiser and creating traffic headaches. CSUN students are walking with the dead today, collecting emergency supplies. And the Chicago Cubs head to Cleveland for the first game of the World Series. Hello and welcome to Matador News. I'm Zaida Diaz.
And I'm Alfredo Perez. Breaking news on campus this morning. Department of Police Services Chief Ann Galvin has announced via email that the reported attempted kidnapping last month did not actually occur. On September 27th, a CSUN student reported that she was grabbed off campus on Dearborn Street. Galvin says the police investigated. She says the incident alleged in the crime report did not occur. She says CSUN police continue to work to keep campus safe.
Hillary Clinton leads Donald Trump in the latest polls by 5 points, according to CNN polls. Both presidential candidates are busy campaigning in Florida, known to be a swing state. As of right now, Clinton leads polls in Florida. Election day is November 8th.
President Obama is scheduled to attend a fundraiser in Los Angeles for the last round of fundraising in hopes of helping Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign. Obama arrived yesterday at LAX and was greeted by Mayor Garcetti. Garcetti told the reporters their conversation focused on issues about fighting homelessness and transit sales tax extension. He was a guest of honor at a $1,000 per play fundraiser at a Beverly Hills home of DreamWorks animation CEO Jeffrey Katzenberg. This is Obama's 26th visit to Los Angeles, and the fundraiser will be his 42nd and 43rd in the area. Drivers may want to watch out for street closures in Beverly Hills, West Los Angeles, and Hollywood.
Suicide bombers attacked cadets at a police training academy in Quetta, Pakistan. The bomb attacks killed 61 and injured 117. 260 cadets were rescued. The cadets had no weapons when the militants struck. Local officials say security forces killed the attackers during the assault. ISIS took responsibility for the attack. They posted a photo of the 3 attackers on their media wing page. Officials say Pakistani-based group was behind the attack.
Defense Secretary Ash Carter says Iraqi soldiers need to be part of the defeat of ISIL.
We're seeking the lasting defeat of ISIL. And a lasting defeat of ISIL can't be achieved by outsiders.
The Islamic State has been in Mosul for the last 2 years. Last week, Iraqi soldiers and Kurdish Peshmerga, with the assistance of the U.S., have begun to regain control of Mosul. Since the Islamic State fighters have reportedly been killing civilians and been throwing their bodies into a river. The UN says Islamic State has been using civilians as human shields. The U.S. has carried out 32 airstrikes in 1 week. Iraqi forces say they've regained control of Ruthba, located in the western province.
Workers in Calais, France, are beginning to tear down the so-called jungle migrant camp. The jungle was home to thousands of migrants for the past 2 years. The temporary shelter housed people from Syria, Afghanistan, Somalia, and Sudan. Cleaners pulled tents down and destroyed all shelters. All refugee possessions are being thrown away in dumpsters. Migrants have now been sent to regions around France. The jungle became the symbol of Europe's migrant crisis.
Former Pennsylvania Attorney General Kathleen Kane has been released on bail while she appeals her prison sentence. She has been found guilty of 9 criminal charges, including perjury and criminal conspiracy, and sentenced to 10 to 23 months in prison. The claims were that she acted out in anger about an article which accused her of dropping an investigation into politicians. Accepting bribes, Assistant Montgomery County District Attorney Michael Henry says Kane's motivated act of revenge didn't have others' best interest.
What this defendant did was disgraceful. She put her own desire for personal revenge above everything else, above the citizens of this state, above the hardworking prosecutors and the staff of the Attorney General's office.
Furman also said that Kane lied about leaking the grand jury documents to reporters in order to cover her tracks. She has resigned from her position.
35 animals are dead after an electrical fire at a Lenox pet shop. The fire was reported around 2:30 this morning and was extinguished in about 30 minutes. About 200 animals were evacuated from the building. Animals that perished included birds, fish, reptiles, and a cat. No people were injured. Animal control officers and the pet store owner worked together to ensure surviving animals have a place to go. A damage estimate has not been given at this time.
Today, it's a zombie preparedness on campus. Now let's go to Matador News reporter Amber Partida for more on the story.
Get ready for the zombie apocalypse at the second annual Preparedness Scavenger Hunt. The main check-in is located at the Boramian Lawn. Jenny Novak is the Emergency Preparedness Manager for the Department of Police Services who helped organize the scavenger hunt. Novak says the event is designed to be interactive and prepare students for other natural disasters.
So basically how it works is students will check into this main checkpoint that's behind me. They'll receive a map that tells them where to go. They'll receive a punch card, and they will receive one of our lunch bags. And the lunch bag is going to be their preparedness bag, and they'll follow the map to each station across the campus and pick up a different preparedness item.
The checkpoints located throughout campus each have an item that students can use for a disaster kit. Zombies will be scattered at the checkpoints to encourage students to participate. CSUN student Daphne Aguilar says she's excited to participate.
That's pretty useful. I mean, I heard
the
the USB charger. It's pretty cool. So I'm excited to find that one.
Students have until 4 to finish the scavenger hunt and enter a chance to win a gift certificate to the amazing escape room of California. Now let's go to Justin Stiles with the latest in sports news.
Game 1 of the World Series takes place tonight as both sides look to end their long championship droughts. The Cleveland Indians will host the Chicago Cubs in a best-of-7 series. The Cubs have the longest World Series drought. They haven't won one in the last 108 years. The Indians have the second longest drought, with their last World Series win coming in 1948. Corey Kluber will start for the Indians, and John Lester will take the hill for the Cubs. And in the NFL, quarterback Brock Osweiler returned to Denver to lead his new team, the Texans, against his old team, the Broncos. This is Osweiler's first time back in Denver since leaving for Houston in the offseason. Unfortunately, things didn't go according to plan. The Broncos beat the Texans 27-9. Osweiler and the Texans' offense struggled as they couldn't score any touchdowns and had to settle for field goals only. The Broncos look to bounce back from the loss as they host the Chargers this Sunday. Now let's go to Ke-Alani Sarmiento with the latest in business.
A federal judge in San Francisco has just signed off on the largest auto scandal settlement in the nation's history this morning. Volkswagen will be paying almost $15 billion in buybacks. The company's cars were designed to cheat federal regulators by putting a computer chip within the cars to pass emission tests. They were falsely advertised to have a less harmful impact on the environment. Customers were buying green diesel cars, not knowing they were causing more pollution. Volkswagen admitted to lying on emission tests and cheating federal regulations. Starting on November 1st, about 500,000 Volkswagen and Audi owners will be able to sell back their cars to the dealership. Owners can receive from $5,000 to $10,000 in payments. As big companies continue to lay off employees, CSUN is holding its annual career fair. Let's get more from Matador News reporter Julia Espinoza in the newsroom.
2 major media companies announced layoffs this month. Social media company Twitter is planning to cut more than 300 employees. The largest U.S. newspaper company, Jannette, will experience a 2% cut throughout this workforce today. Today, CSUN Career Center welcomes over 150 job posts to campus.
I know a lot of students that after college, a whole 4 years of spending money, they don't do much with their major, so I figured job fair is a great opportunity.
Students don't know where to begin, or they haven't been to an interview. For example, I've never had an actual interview for the job, so there's a lot of information that you can gather there.
Hundreds of students that walk away with jobs, that have walked away with jobs just from our career center. And we hear back from those students, and they are very thankful.
The annual event is held at the USU Northridge Center and the Grand Salon. Students have the chance to network, obtain employer info, as well as career opportunities. Now, let's go back to Justin with the latest on health.
Premiums for basic level Obamacare plans will increase by 26% across 39 states next year. Some consumers can expect to see large premium increases as well as a decline in the number of insurers participating. This may lead to a rough open enrollment period. More than 10 million customers who purchase their insurance plans through state programs receive financial assistance. This still leaves 5 to 7 million people who are either not eligible for state assistance or buy their insurance outside of health law markets. The nation's uninsured rate has dropped to a historical low 9%. The administration is urging those who are uninsured to visit healthcare.gov for bargains for cheaper plans. The Vatican says families of deceased Catholics can no longer scatter their ashes or keep them on their mantles. The church says the remains must be stored in a sacred and church-approved place. Documents from the Vatican say cremation is a brutal destruction of the body. The document also laid guidelines for Catholics who are conserving ashes for economic reasons. Ashes and bone fragments can't be kept at home because it disturbs the Christian community from honoring the dead. The new instructions insist remains be kept together, but Vatican officials say they won't dig up cremations scattered in churches around the world. Now let's get back to Ke-Alani, Sarmiento with more in entertainment.
Rihanna is sending out a message to fans about her missing backup dancer. Charlene Quigley disappeared on Sunday. She was last seen getting on a bus in Manhattan around 1 in the morning. Before her disappearance, Quigley sent a suspicious message to her friend that implied something was going to happen. Her cell phone was found at a bridal shop earlier that day. Quigley's father says they used to talk every day and he has no knowledge of her being in a relationship. Law enforcement officials are still investigating the case. People are still talking about President Obama's appearance on the Jimmy Kimmel Show. He spoke about everything from Hillary Clinton and Snapchat to his wife Michelle. And for the second time, the president read mean tweets about himself, including a tweet posted by Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump.
President Obama will go down as perhaps the worst president in the history of the United States! Exclamation point at real Donald Trump. Well, at real Donald Trump, at least I will go down as a president.
The president was able to make an appearance on the show since he's in town for a fundraiser. Now let's go back to Zaida with the weather.
Southern California is expecting to see a rainy forecast this weekend. Currently, it is 73 degrees in Los Angeles, and tomorrow will be partially cloudy. Thursday is reported to be the warmest of the week, reaching a high of 77 degrees. A parade of Pacific storms will bring drought relief to parts of California this weekend. The heaviest amount of rainfall is likely to be over Northern California and Southwest Oregon this Sunday. Thank you for watching Matador News. I'm Zaida Diaz.
I'm Alfredo Perez.
I'm Justice Styles.
And I'm Ke-Alani Sarmiento.